going on, guys? It is your boy Seso here, bringing you guys on Photoshop tutorial here today. Bringing you guys a pretty cool tutorial here. I actually went ahead and made a new, nice little revamp for my YouTube channel, and of course, as soon as I put it on, all of you guys on Twitter started tweeting me like, yo, there's gonna be a tutorial on this. And this is the example I have here. It's also on my YouTube. It looks really freaking clean. I love the way this came out. Guys, it's a very unique and very nice style, and for you to use it, it's going to be awesome for you. Just like if you want to have like a really nice, you just want to showcase your logo like I have here in this white, pure white, along with these really nice dope color schemes, this orange, like different shades of orange, yellow, you can call it whatever as well, blue and purple, looks really freaking good together. I'm going to be using the same exact color scheme as well on this video here today, but if you want to use different color schemes, go right ahead, just whatever, you can just do whatever you heck you want with this. But the cool part about this is the backing is done. It looks very, very nice and clean with these abstract shapes in the background, faded as well, and there's a brightness and contrast that makes this look very, like the finishing just probably look really, really freaking awesome. And then you have these really big shapes here. We're gonna be doing the same exact thing. Just when it comes to this kind of stuff here, I think you want to just have as little as possible, but with that little as possible, you want to give as much as you can. So what I did for these kind of things was I put cool little shaders on them. I gave it like little, I guess like quadrants of like, different, spots like you can see. This is light, dark, light, a little darker than this one, with like an inner shadow in this one, like a little darker than this one, etc, etc, etc. And then within these shapes, we went ahead and used other shapes, like just out of I use my pattern pack. If you guys want to use it, I will put it down in the description down below. If you guys want to purchase it and stuff like that, it's only $5. But anyway, I use my patterns and stuff. You can use like Google, textures or whatever. You can use your own brushes or whatever for, inner patterns like this. And I think that's what made it really, really nice and pop out for me, as I put different, just different patterns within these shapes here. And then with that, you just topped it off with just like, I just add a little more. I want to keep that left side really busy. So I went ahead and just added like a nice brush stock that I just had on my thing. It looked really cool. I just like little freaking abstract little like circles, I guess. I think the way I did this for the stock when I did it before is I just used circles, and then I added like either liquify, I think so, and I just made these like come out a little bit, and that's how that happened. And then pretty much I just put like this really cool little simple diagonal rectangles, and I just kept the the right side extremely clean, and this just really freaking awesome. And I want to show you guys how to do it. So do not forget, guys, 2 likes on the video equals a secret down below. And I know you guys really requested this, so I know you guys are going to smash the like button, all that crazy stuff. And we are so gosh darn close to 50K. It's scary, a little scary. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to do something real cool. I'll try. All right, cool. So basically, to start this thing off, all you're going to really know, like, just a little bit of is maybe just use how the pen tool. And if you don't even know how to use the pen tool, you're not going to be doing some really crazy, like, ridiculous, pen tooling. It's just going to be if you follow my instructions and you follow like how I'm going to, like the process, my thought process of it, you're going to be a-okay. And of course, if you just like know what the pen tool does, it's just basically a path that you can fill when you close it in, right? I'm just using a lot of triangles in this video, but when you close it in, you can go ahead and right click on a new layer. It's not, that's visible, geez, right? And you'll be able to fill the path in, and we're only going to be using drop down, use white or black. And then, you don't have to only select your color, you can just use white. And then throughout this entire thing, it's just going to be using pen tool and messing around with your layer styles from normal to soft light a lot. So with that being said, we can go ahead and now start this tutorial. So the orange I'm going to be using as a base color of the hex code is going to be FFA71C. And that's the orange that I'm using for the example that I showed you guys as well. And it's the same exact color scheme that's on my banner design. So I went with this one just because it's really nice purified, like a really nice orange. I actually got the whole entire idea, no like bullshit, but it was like these rectangles, like this little shape. I had we have a rug in our bathroom that looks like this, and it like goes up and down. It's really cool. And then for my colors that I had here, I took color theory and painting, or I'm taking color theory and painting. And then these 3 colors just came to my head because we were looking at them with this cool color wheel chart. I don't know. So that's my way of saying schools somewhat helped me with this banner design. But, it's just the whole color scheme is really dope. I really like how this came out. But anyway, right? Orange looks really good. I showed you the hex code. What we do now is make a new layer, and I am the dimension of a YouTube banner design. So this is the width of 2120 pixels by 350 height, and the resolution is at 250. And when you press OK, of course, it's going to give you the same exact rectangle here. You're not going to have these rulers unless you go ahead and press Control R on your keyboard, which will give you the ruler command, or view rulers. And then pretty much you want to select your ruler, you click, and then if you go somewhere near the middle, it will snap. You'll see that soon if I try to hover around where I think the middle is. I believe it's like somewhere around here, and it snaps. See, like a little snap, it jumps to the middle, and you can do that for every single angle or horizontal and vertical lines. And then you can snap all these on the edge of it. And that's basically how I went ahead and have the rulers that I have over here. Same thing, right? So, and you're probably gonna really want to do this if you want to keep things like nice looking and like, you know, flow pretty correctly, right? And then with this though, I'm in a YouTube banner design. You cannot just save this though, save it for web, and then save it and try to upload it because it's not gonna be big enough for the YouTube banner template. But if you just want to use a YouTube banner template and then paste this rectangle, right? Let's say you cut it out with like the rectangle marking tool and you group everything together, and you can just drag this shape into the template, and that's how you can do it and upload it on YouTube, etc. I just want to make sure I get that out of the way, that you can't just use this dimension only to upload on the YouTube banner, but this is the YouTube banner's dimension for the rectangle, right? All right, we got that. I'm pretty sure you guys get that. So yeah, that's what I have here. So on this new layer, we're going to take our pen tool, which is shortcut P on your keyboard, and then go ahead, you can select stuff, and we're going to start going ahead. So I'm going to use a lot of triangles. I said I'm going to use a lot of triangles. What you can do, you can use whatever shape you really want to, but triangles for this kind of like, you know, these quadrants right here, and we're going to make it look as cool as possible, right? And try to get away from like saying, let's say you're using squares, right? If you're not using triangles, you're using squares. Let's say you wanted to go through the middle here. You went perfectly through the middle with a triangle, or with a rectangle, right? And you made just different cuts in the half. Try to keep away from making lines that just go straight through the middle here and then straight through the middle here, unless like you really want to, of course. But try to refrain them from that, because if you see here, if I had lines that cut through the middle here, it wouldn't really flow correctly. So that's what I kind of figured out myself. I was like, why do I like it but I don't like it? It was because I had these like really like triangles that are going through the middle here. You can kind of see something going through the middle, but there's nothing in the middle of the banner design that says here, I cut this in the middle. So try to refrain from that. Anyway, let's get going, right? Click over here on this corner over here, click over here, and we'll just make our first triangle on the bottom left. On the new layer, we're just gonna right click, select fill path, drop down, use white, press OK, right click, delete the path now, we don't need that path anymore, and we have our first triangle here that we're just gonna start off with our really cool abstract backing. So we're gonna put this new layer though on soft light. I would say like overlay is okay, but soft light for me, like it's just a very ugly yellow here. But when I put it on soft light, it was already a nice tone. It wasn't as, you know, crazy. But when I put it low the opacity down, it's it's kind of the same as overlay, but it's just a lot more. I think it's a lot more easy to work with if we just put on soft light, right? So that's our first triangle here. Our second triangle, we will put like right. We'll just try to like do something like this, right? Cool little triangle on the top. White, delete it, soft light, and then we're just gonna keep on going, right? I'm just gonna put something over here, something like that. And you see what I mean with these rulers? Since I already know I'm clicking on the edge of these or the corners of these boxes here, everything's gonna line up for me perfectly, that I don't have to like, you know, zoom in or like click here and then try to fix it. I know if I click on this corner over here, this will automatically give me what the angle that I want, right? So I fill this in with the path. Excuse me, my dog is barking. But use white, delete the path, change it from normal to soft light, and then lower the opacity again, and we'll get a nice little triangle there. And we'll make another new one. We'll put a triangle like we'll put a triangle. Let's put a triangle doing like this, right? Like multiple triangles. Let's combine two triangles. See, I'm trying to like refrain from using the middle. If I really wanted to, I could have been like, you know, let's put a triangle right here and do this like that. That's gonna put a line in the middle. It's gonna give us a separation. Not what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna try and go around the middle, right, and still connect here. And then on this new layer, we'll just use a white again, and we'll go ahead and put this on soft light. Lower the opacity down, and there we go. We're getting some freaking nice looking designs. Look at that. So I do like how this is looking. I don't like the fact that this is like single, like this is going through, right? I will think of something to do for that. Maybe I'll do something like here. Put this on white, and then hopefully we'll try to get rid of that, you know, just like a basic line going through the middle, right? We want to not do that. Let's see. See, like we kind of got rid of that like solid line that was going through the middle here. Something needs to go down here. Let's see what can go down here. We can do something like this, maybe. Yeah, we can definitely do something like that. Perfect. Just put this in white, and you can see the process. I like really trying not to put any like solid, you know, lines through. But now with this, there's now no like really indication that I went through the middle here or perfectly through the middle here. Although there is a line there, but I don't know if I can get rid of that because there's a lot of triangles. But you can see I really tried my hardest not to put too many, lines through the middles, and it looks really good. It looks really, really good, and I can definitely say I'm going to go with this, and we're going to go ahead and put our logo on though as well. Right now we got a nice little freaking super dope and just very simple abstract backing going on here, and it looks really nice. So I really like how it's coming out, and it will look better, I promise you guys. At the end of the video, we're definitely gonna put a nice little simple CC touch on it that's gonna give us that really good dope look on it. So now with this basically comes the entire part that's probably gonna give you the most headache, but this is the part we're gonna be using a shape here, just like so. And with this shape here, like I said, make sure you try to fill as much space as you can, as much as you just want. If you wanted, like I said, less with making many rectangles or shapes, but more inside the rectangles or shapes. So with that being said, let's get going. So basically how I did this thing was, these little rectangles here, is I went ahead and just used the rectangle tool, right? I'm gonna make a new layer, and then with this rectangle tool, I'm basically just gonna select one of these quadrants here. I'm just gonna select it and do like that, right? Just simple rectangle, so I know a nice little rectangle size, and this is gonna be good enough for me to flip it horizontally, or excuse me, put it on a diagonal line, and then still be perfectly, be able to get it through. You know what I'm trying to say, right? So, we're gonna get rid of the stroke. So we're gonna click on this little stroke here. It's like Illustrator. If I just click on this X, it will get rid of the stroke. If I want to keep the stroke on, go right ahead, be my guest. You can change the color here as well. But I don't want the stroke. I just want to fill. I'll put the color onto anything because that really doesn't matter. I'm gonna change that in a second. But I'm gonna go ahead and say, if you guys didn't know already, Control T to free transform. But if you hold Shift while holding, we're gonna rotate, right? We're gonna rotate. You just select the corner, and your mouse will basically change it to a little rotation tool, right? You see this little thing right here? Boom. If I click and drag, you'll see if I can go in a full circle, right? But you can see the little triangle with the little the degrees on them. If I keep on going, you can see it's very you can get whatever number you want. But if you hold Shift, it will do it by only 15 intervals, and that's a little trick that I use a lot. So if I want to get 45 degrees or a really nice diagonal line that I can definitely get again, I can use holding Shift, and it'll make it perfect, and that's what I want, right? 45 degrees looks good. But before I do that, I did make sure I said to make sure your rectangle here fills enough space. I'm gonna go halfway, or a little more less than halfway, 25% of the way, and just make it a little more bigger, right? I want it to fill as much space as possible. Maybe that's a little too big, but where's the middle of this? Something right there, right? Just good enough size. That's good now. So Control T, holding Shift, and I'm gonna put it on a 45-degree angle here, and then I'm just gonna duplicate it by either Control J on the layer. You can just simply click on the layer, Control J, or hold Alt, use the movement tool here, which is the top tool, and then while you're holding Alt, you can just move one out of here, and I'll make a duplicate of it, and that's how I like to do it, my favorite way. Control T again, holding Shift, and I'm gonna put this on, I believe 75 will be the angle I need to be at for this, or 90, right? 90 degrees. Boom, and there we go. We take this, and now we just do like that. There we go, and we'll put that on the closest angle here, and that's just gonna give us that perfect look. And this is what we want, right? All right, I'm just gonna also control click on these two. I'm gonna fix this angle here. I'm gonna kind of put this over here a little bit. And like I said, this is taking up a lot of space. I put this on another diagonal line over here, so it takes up even more space. And I think on this one, I have it a little bit to the left more, because I knew I kind of wanted to put a second shape in, but that was just because I had trial and error. If you guys don't want to put a second shape in, you don't have to move it as far away as the logo on this one. I don't know, maybe I'll do it over here just because, but this will work for me. I do like how this looks. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just Control E, which is gonna merge these two shapes together, and I can right click, rasterize layer, and now with this, I can go ahead and change the color just like so. We're going to change it to this blue here, and we are ready to start going and just start adding some really cool little simple shaders inside the triangle or the rectangle here. So we're going to make another new layer, and anything you're going to put on these new layers, anything you're going to put on the shaders, you're definitely going to want to make sure you have it on a clipping mask within the layer here. So that way, anything you put in this layer, once I clip mask it, right, it's only going to be clip masked to this rectangle, and it's going to give you the easiest way to just separate the logo or separate the separate the shape as many times as you want without really trying to follow the shape. So with the pen tool on this new layer, I'm also going to combine everything here and just call this background. So this is no need to look at this anymore. Right, new layer here, and I'm gonna say this is halfway and this is halfway there. I'll make sure I change it so these lines go with the same as these lines, and we'll say this is good, And by the way I'm doing this is I'm holding control. I click on the point and I can move it separately, just like this. And that's kind of what I'm looking for, right? Start back over here, go all the way around the shape here. And this is already, you can see, not there. All right, right click, use white. And what this is going to do for us, if you guys remember our last tutorial, when we put this on like a soft light or overlay, if I load the opacity down, this is going to give us that little cool little bevel look to it, which makes it look, you know, very just like, it looks like a kind of like a sharp edge, just like right in the middle of this. And that's what I really, really like about this. With this though, I can make another layer, and we will go ahead and add one maybe through this right here. Make sure I kind of get it as perfect as there. There we go. That'll work. Go through or go around. Use white, and then we'll go ahead and just basically put this on low light or soft light, and there we go. Now also keep in mind that the way this looks right here, you see how these like shapes look very soft almost. It's because I use an inner shadow. I told you guys before in the beginning I did use an inner shadow for this, but this took a lot of freaking time to get like the perfect inner shadow look, to make it look like there's just like a very soft shape in this like rectangle here. But I don't know, we can try to use it again. Like I said, this is like a lot of trial and error. I believe I just put it on, I put on this entire side on the right side here. But whatever, we can try. If I just put like an inner shadow on and I just put this all the way down to 0, I make sure just when you do this, your distance is always going to be, all the way down to 0. Your stroke is going to be like 15 maybe, or 12 maybe, and your size is going to be what's going to be going up, right? And you can kind of see here, you get that little gradient feel, that little soft shape feel, and that looks pretty good. I do like how that looks, but like there we go, that's gonna work right there. All right, so anyway, make another new layer, put this here, put clip mask there, and we will go ahead and like with this cool, I like how this soft shape does look, and I would say try to use it in yours most definitely. And then we'll just do something like that, right? We're gonna try and put this going out like that, and we're trying to connect this over here, and then we're trying to do something going out right there, and we're just gonna add like a nice little cut right there, right? Fill it with white, and we'll go ahead and just add this soft light. And then with this, I think we're pretty much, I don't know if I actually like how that's like a little triangle in the middle. Did I have that before? I did not. I definitely put it farther down. Kind of want to make sure I follow the same example, right? So I will go ahead and take my pen tool, move it farther down here, and I think, yeah, that's definitely what I'm looking for, right? Boom, fill path, white, delete path, boom, soft light, lower the opacity down. And now with this, you can add as many things as you want for sure, 100% if you guys want to keep on going with like dividing this into pieces, but it doesn't really matter. Like I said, less is more or whatever in this kind of case right here, but I did say try to add as much as you can uniformly within these little rectangles or whatever shape you're going to be using, and it's definitely going to be the best like deal for you. I think I do like how this looks. All right, cool. So basically right now, I definitely see that I need to do is below this rectangle here, make a new layer, and I'm gonna go ahead, click on this, do something like that, and we'll go around this way just like so, and we're gonna go ahead and definitely add like a nice dark triangle, so something like this. Put this down here, press OK here, and we'll go ahead and we'll actually make it a little bit more darker, so like a nice dark triangle, same like that. There we go. So with this dark triangle, really quickly, I'm gonna add just one little quick like shader down the middle. So I add a new layer, clippy mask it, and add something like maybe right here. I click over here to like there, maybe, right? That'll work. And pretty much what this is gonna do for us, I don't know, we're just kind of like filling the left space out. And like I said before, it's gonna look the best if you try to like fill as much space with as little as possible. So right here, I'll put this on overlay. We'll see how it looks. Looks fine. I probably could move this up here, but for now I think this looks good and it looks fine for me right now. So in this case, let's say you're done with this and you want to start adding like the cool little inner shadow. What I really recommend is adding these little shapes in. We're just going to do that really quickly. So the way I did that was I went ahead and made a new layer. I took a shape and I said, which one do I really kind of want to plug something in? I'm going to say this one right here. If I clicked over here, I'm just going to follow these lines. You probably want to follow it because you're not going to be doing any like clipping mask on these layers here. So I'm going to follow a line. We'll put it on the corner here. I'm like trying to get this perfect. Follow this line here and then connect it here. Right click, put this on black. Doesn't really matter what color it is. But if we have it on black, you can see here, if I just basically take my fill and lower all the way down to 0, it will get rid of whatever's shown on the layer. But when I double click on this layer now, and on these layer styles, when I put on whatever I put on these layer styles will still show on the layer because I did not lower my opacity, I lower my fill down. So I can take my pattern overlay here, I can figure out a pattern that I want. I'll say like this one looks really good. If you're doing something different, using your own patterns or your own brushes or something like that, this is where you probably go to Google or something, get your cool little patterns or whatever. But yeah, this looks really nice for me. I'm gonna say I'm gonna add an inner shadow now. My distance always gonna be down to 0. My angle, I'm gonna try to always fix it to like being at 180 degrees. And then my size and all that crazy stuff will be like just put up a little bit. The stroke can be up there, or the choke can be up there. I think that looks good just like that. But of course, this looks really odd just because let's make sure we lower the opacity on the pattern. Something like right about like, I don't know, I think I had 20% as like my go-to shape, my go-to percentage, but I'm gonna just like our size is okay. Let me just lower the opacity down a bit. There we go. There we go. I like how that looks. All right, sweet. So I don't think it matters if you do use white or black, but let's just try to figure that out really quickly. If I made a new layer, I want to add a shape. Let's say we add a shape inside here, just like so. Add another shape. Put this going through here, and we want to add a shape in here. Let's just say we put fill and we use white, and then we lower the fill here. Double click on it. Put a pattern in it, and we'll say we'll put a pattern like of. What we put a pattern of? Like this, maybe, right? Like these little rectangle square patterns. What if I made them really big? I don't know. What do we want to do? Ooh, choices, decisions. That looks pretty neat. All right, we'll just do that, right? Lower this a little bit more. That looks okay. All right, we'll lower the opacity down on this, and then we'll put an inner shadow on. So yeah, it really doesn't change it. So with that being said, we'll put a little bit of a choke on it, lower the opacity a little bit. And we're trying to like kind of fill or like, you know, keep the flow of like how this one looks over here and how this one looks over there. But you can see it's starting to look really freaking sick, but it still doesn't have that really cool kick that these have right here. It's because we still definitely have to add this color correction to it. I'm not going to do another shape. It's going to take way too long. But if you want to add another shape, let's say you want to fill a little more space, or maybe you want to make this one bigger, you know, you can do whatever the heck you guys want. Trust me, it's going to look really dope as long as you kind of like follow the kind of like follow the same exact way you've done something on one thing, like one triangle or one rectangle here on the next one, just so you know, it keep the flow going, all that cool stuff. So, but I said, what do you want to do if, let's say you wanted to make, and we'll put that over here for now, fill a little bit more space, but let's say you want to get to look really, really nice. All I did was, at the end of the tutorial, or at the end of the banner design, I was like, I don't know what I'm missing, whatever, it looks fine right now, right? I was saying that to myself, but if I made a new layer really quickly, on the brush here, on a soft brush, which everyone should have, a soft brush, 0 hardness, a pretty good size, and we're going to use a white here, and then we're just going to go ahead and click right on the top, just like so. We got this nice little white light coming out. You can see it's looking really nice and simple, freaking clean as hell right now, but when I add this brightness and contrast, and the brightness and contrast, I'm going to be using -5 for the brightness, just like so, and then for the contrast, we're going to put this up a lot, like 85. Look at that. Look how like clean and crisp this looks. You can see the color of the blue now pops out a lot. The yellow, the background design looks really freaking nice. And trust me guys, but if you, like I said, I don't really like how I'm not filling this space out right here, but for you guys, continue on with another shape. I would say like put on the like I kind of have like a shape going like this way, down like this way. Try to figure that out yourselves and try to see if you can get that look to it. But when you do so and you put that brightness and contrast on it, it's gonna look so freaking sick. And I would say like try to refrain from putting any like text or whatever. It's gonna ruin it. That's why I kind of like didn't put any text. It was just my logo on it, and it looks really freaking nice. So anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the tour today. And of course, if I want to get like the patterns and stuff, like I said, it'll be in the description down below if you're gonna purchase them for $5. Otherwise, you can just probably find any cool little patterns on YouTube or Google or something like that. You probably get some really cool free pattern packs, all that cool stuff. But if you want to use mine, I've seen it in the tutorial here. It will be in the description down below. And with that being said, guys, the color scheme for the purple, maybe you want to know what the purple was. I don't know how to find it. What happened to my colors here? The purple one, I would say, we'll try to see if we can like click and like cheat a little bit what this purple was. The purple is here. There we go. So the purple I use that's right here is going to be A31CEC, just in case you want to use the same exact purple as I use for your third shape, maybe if you follow all the way through. So that is the color that I use, and of course I did the same exact thing with using white as my shader color for me to do like these little splits here. So yeah, that's that. All right, sweet. I freaking hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys make some really sick ass designs, and even so, I'm just going to get rid of this Look how nice the background is here just on its own. That's so freaking nice. I hope you guys enjoyed. Do not forget, guys, 200 likes on the video equals a secret down below. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter @SesoHQ. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet already. And overall, I thank you guys so much for the support. I can't wait to see you guys next week. Talk to you guys later. So switch you out. Peace.